Welcome in. Wednesday edition, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you this morning. Ole Miss men's basketball picks up its first SEC win of the season in Columbia yesterday, beating the Gamecocks. I don't even have the final in front of me, but pretty handedly. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then apparently we're going to talk some rumors. I see it in the headline here as we getting going. We were discussing a few of those off air, so I guess we'll bring a little of that on air here this morning as well. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Some news yesterday: Ole Miss picking up a new coach, a new commitment, going after some other coaches as well. So we'll take you through everything that we can this morning on the show, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Lunch specials, they change every day. You can any size fountain drink, bread with those orders. Also the hot case featuring the ribs that can take care of dinner tonight. Hot waiting on you, wet or dry, and ready to go. They're from the Oxford Exxon. They've got chicken size desserts. So many options there on Highway 6 West or up and down I-55 and throughout North Mississippi as well. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. Call that number. Ask for our buddy Corey Clark. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. Again, 662-257-1900. Guests will join on the rafters. Not rafters. Nope. Not rafters.
There's a lot of muscle memory there, okay? It's going to be all right.
Yep.
It's going to be okay.
On the myperfectfranchise.net hotline, if you're a displaced corporate executive, you're wanting to put your career in your own hands, you are an experienced entrepreneur who's looking to diversify, Andy Ludecki can help with any of that. He's a longtime Rivals board member. He is a diehard college football fan, a franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You got nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net or contact Andy anytime at andy@myperfectfranchise.net, or you can call him 404-973-9901.
I went ahead and published the Walker Howard story, by the way, Neal. He is now committed.
Oh, is it done?
Yeah, he is committed on the internet. So,
okay.
You had already gotten up this morning and changed it to Wednesday on the story. So I updated the headline. You also predicted he would announce it on Twitter. He did announce it on Twitter. So congratulations there. You got that free space right.
It's almost like I knew something.
Just saying.
Kind of new.
So Walker Howard to Ole Miss. So it's done. They get the quarterback. It's a good dovetail into the day. So we're going to talk some quarterbacks. So one thing falling there while I'm putting it on the board and all. Tell us. I
got it right now.
Okay.
I'm doing it for you.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. You guys are getting us in real time a little bit, so just hang in for 1 second while we.
I'm doing it as we speak.
While we do that,
I got up. The first thing I did this morning was go into admin and change Tuesday to Wednesday. I kind of felt like it would be Wednesday, but there was some talk that it might happen late yesterday afternoon.
Oh, really?
He was driving up here yesterday.
Okay.
And so he wanted to do it from here.
Whatever.
And so, yeah, I didn't know whether he would, knock that out yesterday afternoon or whether he would do it kind of bright and early today. But it's done.
70-58, by the way, the final on the basketball game yesterday. The Rebels over the Gamecocks. Matt Morrell played well yesterday. We'll get to that. Not at the moment. The other news that I was going to mention is that Wes Neighbors is now on the staff for Ole Miss. He's going to coach safeties for Lane Kiffin for Pete Golding. He's been a position coach at Maryland, Louisiana Lafayette, South Florida, Florida Atlantic. Was on Kiffin's staff at FAU during the 18 and 19 seasons as well. So from Huntsville. Was at Alabama for a little while as well. Kiffin knows him from there. Is a GA and analyst there at Alabama during those time periods.
I reported last night, I feel pretty good about it, that Ole Miss has offered a position to former Ole Miss staffer Marquise Watson, who's at Rutgers right now. As of 10 o'clock-ish last night, he had not made a decision. They've offered him the defensive tackles job.
Joyner would continue to coach ends.
Yeah.
In that scenario,
Which tells me that
isn't there one too many coaches?
Tells me that Golding would probably coach.
He's always coached linebackers,
but he could coach secondary.
Yeah, and now he's doing safeties now.
Yeah.
But don't they have one too many people? You get 10 assistants.
Are you counting Crum and Partridge?
No,
Because I'm not.
I'm not counting either one of them.
Okay.
Heard a little buzz, by the way, that Partridge just talked to Oregon for some level of position.
Okay.
For whatever that is worth.
The people that keep trying to fit him on the staff, I'm like, nope.
That's not going to be a
nope. It's an exercise in total futility.
Ole Miss would like him to get a great job because it would offset some buyout, but no, I do not see that to be the case for whatever comes next for Chris there in that one. So no, I'm not counting he or Crum in this thing. Let me pull it up real quick because now I'm just curious. Okay, so we know for sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, they have 9 counting Neighbors right now.
Okay.
So Watson would be 10.
Watson would
and
be
that's
10.
it.
Yes.
Right?
So who do they have coaching secondary right now?
Right now, they have just him at safeties because Sam Carter's gone from corners.
Right.
So they have Neighbors coaching safeties. There is a corner spot open and then another just job open.
Okay.
So, yeah, you could take defensive line, cut it into 2.
And then hire a cornerbacks coach. And let.
No. You only got one more spot.
Okay.
It'd have to be Watson. That's it. And Golding would have to do. On the defensive side of the ball right now, I know we're being really confusing. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out. On the defensive side of the ball right now, Pete Golding, it just says defensive coordinator, Randall Joyner, and Neighbors. That's it.
Okay. You could let someone go on the offensive side and
add another defensive coach.
Could.
Yeah. As of today, John David Baker, tight ends, co-offensive coordinator. Biaggi, special teams. Blackwell, running backs.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. I'm setting up as of 8:28 this morning for people to understand.
I think I already know the fix.
Garrison, offensive line. Golding, defensive coordinator. Joyner, defensive line. Nix, wide receiver. Weiss, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks. And then Neighbors, safeties.
Okay.
That's where it's sitting right now.
Yeah, I know how that gets fixed.
You got that solved?
I just needed to think through it.
It's all good now?
I mean, God. It's a new world.
What is?
It is that.
Ole Miss picks up an offensive line commit yesterday as well from Washington.
Victor Curne,
Yep.
He and I have communicated via Twitter, did a direct message. I messaged him last night. He messaged me back at 2:20 some odd in the morning. So I think at some point today we'll talk. He was a tackle. He played, I think he started 23 games over his career at Washington at tackle. So at a minimum, I'm guessing that he comes in and provides them that third swing tackle, which I think is important. That you can't go into a season and go, okay, well, we have 5 offensive linemen. Let's go. Just the Cincinnati Bengals say hello.
Experience depth is worth its weight in gold and something Ole Miss did not have this past season.
He got beat out last season by a very talented freshman at Washington. But I'm going to guess that he can swing between the 2 tackle spots. And so he gives them another guy who can play there. They added Quincy McGee yesterday. And keep in mind, Jeremy James, not that the spring matters for veteran guys because it doesn't, but Jeremy James will not be going through spring because he's recovering from shoulder surgery. So these guys will get reps at spots that Jeremy would normally play.
Yeah, I mean, I posted this morning. I don't know what to make of it because I'm always very hesitant with PFF college grades. I love the snap counts. I love a lot of the analytics that they do that's very statistical. The problem that I have with grades for them, and they try their best, it is what it is, is that they don't always know the assignment. So from a lineman standpoint, it's so hard to know exactly what that guy was trying to do to then give him a plus or a minus grade for that play. But I did find it interesting that Curne's grades at Washington were all really good. They were above average, and his season grades for all 4 years individually were higher than any 2022 Ole Miss offensive lineman this past season. Again, what to make of that, that's up to you. It's merely a data point, but I did find that interesting. The only player from an offensive line standpoint that had higher grades in 2022 for Ole Miss, higher than Curne's at Washington, was Mason Brooks in his limited action. Everybody else was below that number. So again, just we'll see. But nonetheless, yeah, you're you need workable depth. They need guys. They need the starters to get better, frankly, especially at the tackle spots with Williams and Pettis. So it's it makes sense from that realm all the way. See what happens with Marquise Watson. He's beloved around here. He's a really good recruiter, top up and coming young coach. That makes a lot of sense. That would obviously help if you wanted it to with Davis Nigmanosin, depending on what NIL situations he might have at other locations or what would be going on somewhere else. So you have that going on as well. So it's not silly season, but there's certainly a lot of movement right now. I'll put it that way.
Today's the last day guys can get in the portal for this correct. Cycle.
Until May 1st.
Until May 1st, there will be a ton of activity, unless everyone's wrong. And here lately, people aren't wrong.
Oh, you think a lot of activity today?
No, I think there'll be a lot of activity
May.
in May, a ton in May. May 1 through 15 will be lots of guys jumping in the portal. The second part of May will be guys committing places and getting someplace by June to go through off-season programs. And then hopefully it will slow down.
Do you think Tulu Griffin's on Ole Miss's roster in the fall?
Ooh. Certainly a lot of buzz, a lot of smoke. I mean, I hope so, just so I can watch the individual meltdown about
the
tampering.
World burn. No, he said the full-on investigation should he transfer. I mean, they're going to open up all the books.
Listen. I realize that is appealing to his base. I get it, and so
State only gets tampered with. They never tamper. They only get tampered with.
And so, in many ways, I admire the business acumen here. I mean, it's solid. Right. I mean, sure. Hey, I'm going to embrace this. The one thing I will give the NCAA a complete and total pass on is tampering. I mean, I just can't even imagine. The phone rings at Indianapolis. Hey, Toledo's been tampering with Eastern Michigan. Yeah, dude, we don't have time for that. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Mind your own house. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're asking the NCAA to handle every tampering accusation, you just don't understand manpower. No way. So I mean, I get why he does that. Again, it's a bit. I think it's a business decision on his part more than it is anything else.
And it's
a bit, yeah. And it works because it appeals to the majority of their base.
11 hours.
I've told you Oxford High School played Starkville on Friday night, and I'm just going to tell you. One of the reasons that thing is weird is because Oxford doesn't hate Starkville the way Starkville hates Oxford. There's a difference.
Trickling down into prep.
Yeah, there's a difference in the hate. Like if you go to an Oxford High School game against Starkville, there's no mention of like the Magnolia Cup or whatever. Just no one even thinks about it or whatever. You go there, they're welcome to Mississippi State, home of the 3-time Magnolia Cup.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, these are high school kids.
They announced that at the pregame?
Yeah, like what are you doing? But it's part of their deal, and it's ingrained. It's different. So I get what he does. He's just it's just good business. Because what else is he going to do? Go work for the Washington Post?
Really?
Yes.
Yes, Tulu Griffin on his Twitter 11 hours ago said, let's see, tomorrow at noon with cross fingers. So I assume that means he's potentially committing tomorrow at noon.
Lane Kippen says, do me a favor and keep your eye on all the rods the next 48 hours, please. So they must be expecting a whole lot coming in the next 48 hours. So the rumor is Tulu's today.
Tulu on Twitter.
Okay.
said tomorrow at noon, cross fingers.
So meaning tomorrow.
No, that was 11 hours ago.
Oh, so today at noon.
Yes.
Great. So I get to pre-write another story.
Now, that might mean that he's getting in line at some restaurant and he hopes he gets in.
It's possible.
It's today at noon.
It's possible.
There might be like a new iPhone or something coming out today at noon. I mean, who knows?
Rule nothing out.
But
it's also possible that he's announcing a college choice.
that's very possible. Yes, that is. I guess he was at the state basketball game last night. He said the hump tonight, 18 hours ago.
They lost to Tennessee, right?
They were tied at the half. It's the last thing I saw. I don't know.
Can't keep up, man.
I don't know. That was not where my focus is.
Who won the Kentucky game? Did they beat Georgia?
They blew Georgia out in the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, they came alive. Toshibwe had like a hell of a night. I know you're shocked there. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. This show so far is just scattered.
That's what today is. It just is what it is. I mean, I'm gonna gotta get some stuff out of the way, and then we'll start shooting.
So who else are we looking for? We're looking for Tulu.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Walker Howard, but I'm gonna talk about Walker Howard in a minute when I get to the other thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna put all that in a pile.
Yeah, because that's
gonna take a minute. So I'm getting everything else.
That's a lot of stuff. So who else are we looking for? Tulu. They had the defensive back from North Texas that was in.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that probably happens.
Are they still in on that Tennessee kid from a few days ago, or did that do something else?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I've asked about the center from Miami. I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I've asked about Mike Wright, who put out a tweet yesterday sort of saying
he was leaving his apartment for the last time.
And I asked two people at Vanderbilt. Yes, one was Chris Lee, but somebody else. And they said they didn't think Mike yet really knew where he was going.
Oh, really? Well, it doesn't make sense here at this point.
Unless it's to play a variety of positions and be a Swiss Army knife.
Which is possible.
I mean, Mike's not going to play quarterback at the NFL level.
So figure out a way where you're going to like a place and have fun and get on the field, whatever.
Well, if you're trying to create NFL stock and you trust that Ole Miss will let you develop into a guy that plays some different things, maybe that's something for him. Or maybe he's going someplace to just go play quarterback because he can. Because he could go down a level and be a pretty good quarterback for a year.
Yeah, there's Monty whatever, too, the linebacker.
Oh, the Alabama guy. Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes in the portal. Okay,
I'm behind on that one. I'll be honest.
Is that him or is that wasn't there a kid from Louisville?
Yeah.
No, it's him. What is that kid's name?
Was it Monty Montgomery?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it's the Louisville kid.
Yeah, they were in on him. I did confirm that.
Okay. So who knows? A lot going on. A lot of dudes.
Gaddy is the defensive back from North Texas.
Okay.
Montgomery is the linebacker from Louisville.
Okay.
And I've asked about Mike Wright and Ja'Kai Clark, and I'm not getting answers, which usually
that means no.
No, usually it's an affirmative answer.
Oh, okay.
Usually if there's just a no, I get a no.
Well, that's helpful.
To a degree.
I don't know. I mean, at some point, Ole Miss was kicking tires on Dylan Johnson, the state running back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Don't know where that stands.
I don't know.
Kicking tires on a lot of dudes. Kicking a lot of tires. Got a lot of bait in the ocean. Whatever your metaphor choice is.
Lots of rods in there.
A lot of rods in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, again, we're going to get to some silly stuff in a minute. Before we do that, we need to at least talk about this. You mentioned it. Yeah, Kentucky 85-71 over Georgia. Georgia led by 8 at the half, and then Kentucky just blew them out 51-29 after intermission.
Oh.
Toshibwe, 37 points, 24 boards last night for Kentucky. So that was a day. He's pretty good.
He's a good player. They've got a good team. They're going to figure it out a little bit.
Tennessee wins 70-59 in Starkville.
Okay.
They outscored them 47-36 after the break, and it was tied at 23. Ziegler with 24 for Tennessee.
That state's problem is they can play this lockdown defense, but they can't score, and
Yeah.
so you can't take advantage of it. And then when a team like Tennessee that's got 3 guys who can score
goes on that run.
when they
that's
kind
it.
of figure it out, you can't answer.
And then Alabama did win and cover yesterday in Nashville. They won 78-66. Miller goes for 30 and 10 for the Tide last night.
Did you see what Nate Oates said?
I did.
I mean,
I did.
Nate, my man. So you consulted Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis.
I mean, who's next? Ray Caruth?
I mean, doing something with Washington. Okay, see, I missed that. All right,
Okay.
good. Yeah. Whatever.
That was a new one to me. I was like, man, I thought I was keeping up pretty well. I mean, literally what was going through my head was, I've been really trying hard on this. And how did I not know that?
What was Nate trying to accomplish?
I mean, look.
He went through a situation and still played. Yeah, he did. I mean,
He did. You're
what else did he say? Because
about just.
well, it caught me off guard because I know.
I thought it was a joke.
Well, I know we're shocked here. I saw some Alabama media member praising Oates' press conference. So, and then I saw that and I went, hold on. It can't be both. Can't be both. I'm really confused.
It just was a bad idea.
Yeah, reading from AL.com, speaking publicly for the second time since Sunday's arrest of Darius Miles for capital murder, Alabama men's basketball coach Nate Oates revealed Tuesday he spoke to former NFL linebacker Ray Lewis in the wake of the incident. Quote, his daughter went to Alabama a year and a half ago. This was on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, so I guess he told this to Chris Stewart. He went through a similar situation in Atlanta. He played in the NFL. He told me what he thought guys needed to hear. I just thought he's been through, a tragic situation, one of the more mentally tough athletes in my time. His daughter went to Alabama, so I was able to get his number. I talked to him. He didn't talk to the team or anything, but he kind of talked to me. It's a man of faith, just kind of told me to share a little word with him, pray with him. That's what they need right now. His daughter went to school here a year and a half ago, so she's pretty shook up by the whole situation, too. Oates.
I mean, Aaron Hernandez wasn't available.
I mean,
I'm not laughing. Just
I just don't understand.
Just a bad idea. Can't you just? I mean, the answer there, Nate, is I just can't comment about an ongoing investigation.
I saw bottom of the screen last night that it was Darius Miles' weapon. He did not fire the shots.
Right. He provided the weapon.
Yeah.
Which does that mean in an active situation you hand the guy a weapon and go shoot it, or did he ask for the weapon and you gave it to him and you didn't know? And I think that's what they're trying to.
Because that was the reason they were both initially charged with what they were, was that the Tuscaloosa County Police or Sheriff's Department said that both their actions led to the fatality.
Right.
Was how they phrased the reason for the dual charges there to both of them.
And the other guy was a felon, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. There was some speculation about that last night, that he was a felon, which would have also led to aggravating charges.
Oh, really?
That's what I was told.
Yeah. So
that he was a previously convicted felon. I don't know that to be the case. I just was told that.
And then again to it, Ole Miss knocking off South Carolina 70-58 last night. Matt goes for 23-9 for the Rebels last night. Played well.
He did play well.
Yeah, he played really well. They hit some threes last night.
Mm-hmm.
They go 10 for 24, 41% from the 3-point line.
Boy, they could have used that a few times earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, and here's what they did. And again, South Carolina's bad.
Yes.
Offensively, and I've watched a lot of Ole Miss and Mississippi State. South Carolina had one of the worst offensive nights. Like, just can't put the ball in the hoop. I mean, it's bad. Frankly, their stats were better than I thought they would be. They went 36, 25, 61, and that was better than I thought they were, given what it looked like in real time. But where you give Ole Miss credit is that they had a big lead at the break, and South Carolina did go on a run right at the start of the second half, which that's what's hit Ole Miss is everybody has gone on a run at some point, and then they've had no response. There's been no comeback. They haven't been able to stop it, and then that's dictated the game. And there was a stretch last night where South Carolina went on a run, cut it to 3, I think. I think it was 32-29 was where it got. And then Ole Miss actually got out kind of with some quick transition. They had some open looks. South Carolina lost Morrell on a 3 on the wing. He hits it, and they really put the game away from there and played pretty well. And it shows you how much – I mean, keep it in context. I mean, Ole Miss, again, they beat South Carolina. But just from in a vacuum standpoint, they actually had some confidence. And when you do that, you're not as scared to take that early 3 in the shot clock, to just play basketball a little bit. I mean, when you watch Ole Miss, it hasn't been fun at all to watch this season because they play so hesitantly and they have to get deep in the shot clock. And there's no movement that looks athletic in the way they play. And then they miss so many shots. They actually got into some successful game flow last night from a basketball standpoint. So, again, what does that mean moving forward? I don't know. They play Arkansas here or in Fayetteville on Saturday. I don't know a start time for that. Maybe Neal does. And then they play Missouri at 6 o'clock Tuesday back here home at the Pavilion. So 9-9 overall, 1-5 in the SEC. South Carolina 8-10 now, 1-4 in the SEC.
There's a decent chance that they're going to be playing another 1-5 team in Fayetteville on Saturday. Arkansas is 1-4, and they play at Missouri tonight.
Oh, I didn't realize they were 1-4.
And they'll have their hands full in Como. Now, they can win that game, but they'll have their hands full.
Next up for the Rebels, at Arkansas, Missouri at home, at Oklahoma State, Kentucky at home. Next 4. Then at Nashville, at Georgia. They get South Carolina back at home. A lot of games left.
Yeah. They're 1-5, so they're 1/3 of the way through the SEC schedule. 6, 12, 18. That's that ULM math, baby.
And then the game against Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Says in the stream, Nick Smith coming back next week. So the Rebels would miss him at least.
He's been missed by them. Obviously, a guy who's a top 5 pick in the draft was missed when he's not there. But he also gives them a weapon on the wing that they don't really have right now. They have really missed he and Brazil, the Missouri transfer that got hurt.
So, what is with Nick back, what is their ceiling now? I mean, because they were a team where they had everybody. They were a Final Four team.
I still think they could be a second weekend team if Smith is healthy. He changes everything for them. They don't have that perimeter shooting that you really need unless they can find a way. They've got a kid named Pinion, a freshman from Arkansas, that they can play him on the wing and he can really shoot it, but now he can't guard me. So they've got to find a way to hide his defense and play his offense. Brazil was helping them because he was making threes.
I mean, that would be a success with the injuries to get to the second weekend. Grind mentioned it. I'll go over it really fast just for anybody who's curious. Still a week away, but the SEC Big 12 Challenge, as they do every year now. Auburn at West Virginia. Alabama at Oklahoma. Iowa State at Missouri. Texas Tech at LSU. TCU at Mississippi State. Arkansas at Baylor. Texas at Tennessee. It's an interesting game. Florida at Kansas State. South Carolina at Georgia. Kansas at Kentucky. Ole Miss at Oklahoma State. And Vanderbilt at Texas A&M because they have a different number of teams there. So there's that one. Speaking of, I guess, Kansas State, Florida, Keontae Johnson goes for 24 last night as Kansas State knocked off Kansas in triple overtime in Manhattan last night.
Is that where he is?
Mm-hmm. Playing well.
Yeah.
Playing really well.
Mike and I talked about him for a minute on Saturday.
Yeah. Kansas State ranked 12th, 13th in the country before the win last night. Kansas was 2.
Yeah, Florida would not clear him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Really?
I mean, without knowing everything that happened, it's hard to pass judgment on it. But if he's out, and good for him, by the way. He's a great kid. That was a scary deal.
Oh, it was terrible. Just fell out on the
I
floor.
mean, that's in November of a season that he's the preseason All-SEC player, preseason SEC player of the year, and he's basically dead on the floor there for a moment. You don't think that shook the kids up a little? And then once you try to get back to, hey, let's play basketball.
Yeah,
okay, and let's do it without our best player, and let's fix this in December. That's hard.
I mean,
look at Arkansas, right? I mean, they were a rolling ball of butcher knives, and then they lose Brazil and Smith, and suddenly you're not very good. It's hard to make adjustments once the season gets going when you lose your best player. When you lose your fifth best player, you can kind of fix some things. But when you lose the top guy, the mentality of your team changes. Other people try to do too much.
Well, thank God he's okay.
Sure.
But Keontae Johnson stays healthy and Mike White's still at Florida. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, it's because
they would have made the tournament. And
Florida's a weird place. Like, they're already in the process of, like, running Billy Napier off.
They don't get credit for being as weird as they are.
No.
They really don't. Everybody goes, oh, no, it's just a great athletic department. It's like, no.
Well, and here's the other thing, too, and I feel like I can say this now. I mean, we'll talk about Walker Howard in a bit.
In a minute, yeah.
He's got a lot of connections to Florida because of his relationship with Billy Napier. Billy Napier was the coach at Lafayette for the longest time, and Walker grew up in Lafayette. His dad, Jamie Howard, the former LSU quarterback, was a pretty big person in Lafayette. They knew the Napiers. And Billy Napier wanted Walker Howard to come to Florida. They tried to get a visit, tried really hard to get a visit, and they didn't get one, in large part because Florida was a bad cultural fit. Because when you grow up in the South, and Lafayette's the South, Gainesville, Florida might as well be New Jersey. And that's starting, I'm telling you, that's hitting them a little bit. It's a weird place.
So you're not buying Napier.
I'm buying Napier. I'm not buying Florida.
You're not buying Napier at Florida.
I'm not buying anybody at Florida. Who's ever won at Florida? Steve Spurrier, who won everywhere he ever went.
And Urban Meyer.
Steve Spurrier won at Duke, and he won at South Carolina.
He did.
Urban Meyer, bad person.
Great coach.
Wins everywhere he ever goes in college. He won big at Utah. He won big at Florida, and he won big at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And he could probably go to someplace else and win big. Now, but he'd win big.
Grimy as all hell, but
who else? Was Ron Zook a terrible coach? I don't think so.
I think McElwain won the East one time. Mullen won the East one time.
Yeah, but I mean, those are good coaches. McElwain's a good coach. Dan Mullen was a good coach. Did a good job at Mississippi State. He did. He goes to Florida. It's a failure.
Yeah.
Well, at some point,
mirror.
I mean, is Jim McElwain a horrible coach? No. Is Dan Mullen a horrible coach? You can dislike him, but is he a horrible coach? No, he's not.
No.
He went to Florida and failed. I mean, Billy Napier won really big at ULL. Dominated that league.
Across both sports, there's the one-off, but it's been mostly coaches who have done it. Basketball and football at Florida. They had, obviously, the Billy Donovan run. He wins back-to-back national titles. They make either the championship game or the Final Four under, was that Kruger?
Yeah.
Before that?
They went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike was a game against South Carolina away from the Final Four.
Yeah. Got popped by basically just this Destiny South Carolina team.
Yeah. Team that got super hot.
Frank Martin made the Final Four.
Yeah. And they fired him. And now where's he at?
I don't know where he's at. Where's Frank?
UMass or somewhere?
Is he?
Somewhere.
Is he doing okay?
Doing better than they're doing at South Carolina. Anyway.
That's a good point. Florida State and Miami being better hurts Florida. Or no?
I mean, I guess. I just think Florida's weird. Georgia being dominant hurts Florida. Yeah, Florida State being good hurts Florida, but Georgia being dominant hurts Florida.
South Carolina being competitive.
The fact that all these schools can dip into Florida and get players.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee.
Yeah, everybody gets in there. Alabama dips in there. Auburn gets in there. People go get players out of there.
So, lead in. Walker Howard headed to Ole Miss. He commits this morning on Twitter.
Yep.
Been committed. Whatever. Been planning this for a bit here.
I think he's basically been committed since Sunday.
Ole Miss beat out TCU as finalists. Florida, Missouri both try to get in there. Against Auburn, tried to get in there to some extent, as well as plenty more. He was a 5-star out of the 2022 class, headed to LSU. He was the number 20 overall player in the country.
Yep.
Out of St. Thomas More there in Lafayette. 6 foot 186 is what Rivals had him at the time. I have no idea.
LSU's got him at 6'1", 195.
I'm assuming Rivals actually has the real things because they measure those guys at camps, and Walker Howard would have been highly rated enough for him to be measured. So
yes.
My assumption is that's actually correct.
That was certainly accurate going into his senior year.
Yeah, sure. And again, he could have.
I think
grown.
he's grown a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, so 6.5 feet, whatever.
Again, LSU lists him at 6'1", so he's somewhere between 6 foot and 6'1".
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Really athletic kid. He's got a good arm. Frankly, of the he and Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels, pretty much everyone there will tell you that Walker Howard had the most arm talent. He's got some things to work on from a technique standpoint that Tyler was talking about yesterday, and some of the LSU people said this as well. Has a tendency. He's athletic. He's a willing runner. He'll get out of the pocket, extend plays. Sometimes when he throws off platform, his technique gets off a little bit and the ball sails on him. It's something he has to work on. That's fixable. Very smart. Great kid. Has all the intangibles. Great leadership skills. His deal at LSU was pretty simple. He was the scout team quarterback last year. Jaden Daniels came back. Garrett Nussmeier is viewed inside that program as the quarterback of the future.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whether he is or isn't, we'll see. But inside that program, that's how they view it. They really like Nussmeier. Daniels got hurt at the end of the year. And in December, when they kind of said, hey, let's put these guys against each other a little bit. Let's see what we think. They like them both. They wanted to keep Howard. But Howard's concern was, I'm going to end up being the scout team quarterback for another year. So we're getting to something here. He loved LSU. His dad was a player at LSU. He grew up an LSU fan. His dad really didn't want him going to LSU out of high school. Didn't think it was the best fit. Didn't think it was the best idea. But he let Walker make his own decision. And Walker chose LSU for a lot of family reasons. Walker's mother passed away several years ago from an illness. I think some of that was wanting to do something that maybe would have made her happy, made her excited. He got to LSU. He made a ton of friends, really enjoyed it. He left for football reasons. He was happy at LSU. His girlfriend's still at LSU. She made the trip with him to Oxford, to Fort Worth. He's got a lot of friends at LSU. He enjoyed it. This is a football decision because he needed to go someplace where he could start to develop. It's hard to develop when you're not getting reps, when all you're doing is getting scout team reps. When this week you're Bryce Young and next week you're Jackson Dart and the next week you're Hendon Hooker, right? I'm just making stuff up. You know what I mean? When you're the scout team guy, you don't get your reps in your system to get ready to play on Saturday.
Sure.
You get reps to help your defense get ready for the next game. You're not running your offense.
You don't even wear your number in practice.
And you're not throwing the guys who are playing on Saturday. You're throwing the guys who are way down the depth chart, are being redshirted, or frankly, walk-ons. So you're not developing. He left for that reason. And yeah, I'm super sourced on this. You know that. I've talked to a ton of people.
I know.
So he picks Ole Miss, which says, okay, so let's take a look at Ole Miss's quarterback situation. Luke Altmaier transferred to Illinois.
He did.
Jackson Dart, as of this moment, to my knowledge, still here.
Returning starting quarterback, played pretty well for a first-year guy last year.
Started 13 games.
Yeah. Jackson
is draft eligible after next season, but he also has multiple years of eligibility remaining. Kincaid Dent
went through senior night.
Graduates in May, went to senior night. And look, if I'm wrong here, if any of my family members are listening, feel free to hit me up. I'm cool.
Yeah.
What I hear about Kincaid is that it's likely that he's going to go someplace next season and go play.
Either way,
he gets his degree at Ole Miss in May.
I will be a little surprised if he is on Ole Miss's football roster following spring practice.
Yes.
They need him here in the spring, frankly.
For reps and such. And yeah. Anyway. My guess is that he graduates in May, enters the portal, and finds a place to go play quarterback for a year.
And why in that realm, Walker Howard makes all the sense in the world, because he completely fixes or removes any quarterback issue from not taking one in last year's class. You've got a 5-star quarterback that seems to be able to practice some patience. It's not that he has to walk in and beat out Jackson Dart tomorrow here.
But it would be easier for him to have patience if the guy who is in front of him was on his final year of eligibility.
Sure.
Which leads to the rumor that simply won't go away, and frankly, it's not rumor anymore. There is strong speculation, that Spencer Sanders, who was a 3.5-year starter at Oklahoma State, is going to transfer to Ole Miss.
Got banged up last year.
Yeah.
Had probably his worst statistical season of his career, I think, without looking.
Right. So, in a scenario where Spencer Sanders transfers to Ole Miss with 1 year of eligibility remaining, that's it. We've talked about this with Spencer Sanders. If Spencer Sanders transfers to Ole Miss to compete for a job, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. You don't. If it
makes no sense for Spencer Sanders.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, everybody keeps doing Ole Miss is just filling the room with as many quarterbacks. It's no Spencer Sanders, unless you're just coming in and go, hey, I just want to enjoy Oxford from my last season and hang out and hold a clipboard, and nobody thinks that's the case.
I mean, come on.
That's my point.
Right.
Hold on. Why? It defies logic. And I know we're going to get hit by all the Pollyannas on the board, but it's...
Well, I don't care anymore. I mean, hit us.
It doesn't make sense.
Hit us all you want. If Spencer Sanders comes to Ole Miss, someone at Ole Miss told him you'll be the quarterback. In the same way that Jackson Dart came a year ago because somebody at least intimated that you were going to be the quarterback. Now, Jackson was better than Luke, and Jackson was going to win the job.
Yeah, of course.
But I never really bought, and you didn't either, I don't think, that we're having some super real competition here. It was maybe frustrating, I think, to Kiffin in August that Jackson didn't just run away with the job quicker than he did. But if they bring in Spencer Sanders, they're bringing him in to be the quarterback. Not to compete for the job. Because you wouldn't want to bring him in, him not win the job, and now he's standing in your locker room every day.
Yeah, I know everybody gets tired of hearing it. They're not robots. It's good. You have a locker room issue in that situation.
In a program where locker room issues last year fermented a little bit in November.
Yeah.
You don't, and it's not just Ole Miss. Locker room issues happen most places, but it happened at Ole Miss too. So you don't want to invite one in. I'm not saying Spencer Sanders is a bad dude or anything. I'm not, but he's 23 years old. He's coming in to be a quarterback. Spencer Sanders wants to play in the NFL. He's not going to go someplace where there's even a chance that he's not winning the job. So if he comes in, the message that I get, I mean, as just a person with a certain degree of common sense, is that, oh, so you're bringing in, let's go back to Walker Howard for a minute. Walker Howard just took these visits. He went to Ole Miss. He went to TCU.
Mm-hmm.
He left a place that he likes, where his dad played, where he has friends. He left a place where he grew up cheering for, and his girlfriend's there. That's a lot, Chase. He left that because he didn't want to be the scout team quarterback again. So he's going to come to Ole Miss, a place that he has no roots, where his girlfriend isn't here and he doesn't have any friends yet, to be the scout team quarterback? That probably would have been a red flag in the meeting. I have it on multiple sources that Spencer Sanders' name came up in his meetings at Ole Miss. So he has to think, Walker Howard does, I'm going to be the backup quarterback. I'm going to come in, learn the system, get backup reps, and the guy in front of me is leaving at the end of the season because his eligibility's up. That's not a chemistry deal there. So let's look at it from Jackson Dart's standpoint for a minute. You bring in Walker Howard. Okay, cool. I mean, you got to recruit other quarterbacks.
Yeah, sure.
Got to have another quarterback. I mean,
yeah, at worst, Jackson Dart's here 2 more years.
Yeah,
from Walker Howard's standpoint.
Right. And so if you're Jackson and they bring in this guy, you're like, okay, I mean, I get it. I got to compete. Got to show up. But there's nothing about Jackson to indicate that he's not going to compete and show up. He always competed and showed up.
Yeah.
But when you bring in Spencer Sanders, you got to go, wait, hold up. Why? And so it's my opinion that all these people that are like, hey, pack the room, let the best man win, I just think you're being Pollyanna. If Spencer Sanders is here in the fall, hell, if he's here in the spring, I don't see a scenario where Jackson Dart is too.
Yeah, it
makes no sense.
Again, if Spencer Sanders is coming to Ole Miss to play quarterback and not for some ancillary reason we're unaware of that I don't believe, I mean, it makes no sense.
I mean, I haven't heard it. Look, I mean, here's the deal. I'm trying not to, and Chase is too, I'm trying not to burn sources and whatnot, but at the same time, you hear something consistently, it usually has a lot of truth to it. And what we're hearing consistently is they're bringing him in to be the quarterback. Right? You can never have enough people in the room, blah, blah, blah. You want the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, but it's not realistic.
Yeah. A fifth-year senior who statistically does not blow away Dart in any way. They're very similar, frankly. I mean.
Yeah. And I've seen people do the Alabama thing when they had Tua and Bryce Young and Mac Jones.
They all came out of high school.
Yeah, and they were staggered.
Yeah. They were quarterbacks out of classes that came in and
Right.
had decided to stay at that point.
Right.
Spencer Sanders can't stay for another year. He's here one semester.
He either wins the job and plays semester. Or he made a horrible mistake. Now, the other school that's mentioned for him is Auburn. I don't know what's going on there. I know there were a couple of projections for him. I don't do the crystal ball thing. I don't keep up with what happens at On3 or 247, but I was told that there was some Auburn buzz with him yesterday, but that most of the buzz was on Ole Miss. And frankly, I talked to someone in Oklahoma yesterday who said everyone there says it's Ole Miss.
In 2021, Spencer Sanders completed 62% of his passes for 2,839 yards. That's 7.3 on average. 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in 2021. Again, last year, 26-42, 17-9, but there was some injuries and stuff and whatever. So I'm trying to keep that as fair as possible. Jackson Dart this past season, in his first season as the Ole Miss quarterback. Pulling that up. I want to do it. Here it is. Jackson Dart stats from this season, 62.4%, basically the same. 8.2 on average, that's a little higher. 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 2,974 yards. Statistically, same guy.
Yeah.
Jackson's run the ball better than Spencer Sanders has over the course of his career. It's not like it's not, hey, you're going to get Bryce Young, where it's, oh, God, look, wow, you can't turn that down. It's the same guy.
I would be curious to talk to football people about Spencer Sanders' decision-making in the passing game. That's the knock on Jackson. Whether it's legit or not, I have no idea. I'm not a football. I don't know football well enough.
Passing game or reading defenses to get into the correct play?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean.
Yeah, because we've heard the same things. They question decision-making, but I don't know if that means
right
live ball or pre-snap.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's legit. I don't know.
Well, yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm not enough of a football geek to do that. I'm not Dan Orlovsky here. So, but that's the deal. Walker Jones tweets this morning, quote tweeting the Walker Howard tweet, says, and we ain't done. So everyone's doing this thing, and it leads you to, but it leads you to one, like if I'm Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders announces his commitment today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, you're calling somebody going, hey, so you just want to be a GA later? Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
And again, it's not that Jackson's afraid of competition. Don't go down that road. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about these are humans.
Yeah, but if you're Jackson Dart and you started last season and then you get benched, is he going to get the 2 snaps? Because then if you're Walker Howard, you're like, wait a minute, hold up. This is not complicated. It's really not. It's just
the reason that Walker Howard wanted out of LSU if all three quarterbacks are on the roster, it is the exact situation he's stepping into here.
In that scenario.
The exact situation.
Unless you're
Jaden Daniels will be gone at the end of the fall in LSU.
Unless you're going to take the loser of Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders
and
make him the
third
scout team quarterback, which good luck with that. How's that going over? I'm going to sit here and admit to you, I just don't get it. I 1,000% get Walker Howard.
Walker Howard makes all the sense in the world. Completely.
Major victory. Because you go out and you landed a 5-star quarterback.
Yeah. Seamless. No problems.
Makes all the sense in the world. The other one tells me that somebody's gone.
And Walker Howard didn't come to Ole Miss to wait till 2025 to be the quarterback.
No.
He wants to be the quarterback in 2024.
Yeah, he wants to be the starter in 2024. Intends to be the starter in 2024. There to get the number 2 reps, to be ready to go, to push the starter, whoever the starter is, and to be ready to step in. And it's a much easier decision on his part if the starter is out of eligibility at the end of the season.
It also means Ole Miss again needs a quarterback.
Well, sure. But now you're doing it the more traditional way.
Are you?
I don't know.
But just hear me out. Again, hypothetical people. We're doing a podcast, and it's January the freaking 18th, okay? Let's say Dart leaves, just for the hypothetical, okay?
Okay.
Got me?
Yep.
I mean, nobody can rule that out right now.
No.
So just hypothetical. Spencer Sanders is gone at the end of the year, and you're still left with one quarterback. It's Walker Howard.
Yep.
You need another quarterback on roster who has eligibility remaining coming into this team. You do.
Back into the portal.
I mean, I get it, yes.
Although at some point, the Jackson Dart thing, would it hurt you in the portal down the road?
I don't know.
I don't either.
In today's college football world, hell, who knows? And yes, Jackson Dart would have to sit out or need a waiver to compete immediately anywhere he went. He's already used his portal. Well, he could grad transfer, actually. I don't know where he's at academically. But at some point, he would be eligible for that should he graduate. Yeah, you can't simply just go, oh, God, fill the room. It's great. Like that. That doesn't make sense.
Come on. It's no. You can do that at wide receiver to some degree.
Yeah, sure.
Although, like Bryson Green, when he was here on his visit, he started asking questions, I'm told. Hey, so this guy's going to get that many balls. This guy's going to get that many balls. Where do I fit in? These guys make the portal guys. It's a different decision for them. So I got to think, if I'm Spencer Sanders.
Again, if Spencer Sanders is trying to to play, that's it.
Well,
that's the question.
I mean, I'm assuming that
I'm
assuming he wants to play.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that he's asking questions. Okay, well, what about at wherever? Let's take Ole Miss out of it. He's at Auburn on a visit. I don't know if he's visited or not.
Yeah. Hey, what about Robbie Ashford?
Tell me about Ashford. How do you view him? Who else you got?
Yeah.
What's going on with them? I mean, it just stands to reason, logically, that those questions got asked and answered. And if he elects to come, the answer that he got indicated to him that he can be the quarterback.
Yes.
Unless he just, man, Proud Larry's is amazing. Come on. This just isn't complicated.
Because I just don't understand running. I mean, everybody's confident, but I mean, you're running the risk of I'm just going to beat Jackson Dart out. I mean, I get it. I get Spencer Sanders' phone wasn't blowing up. He didn't have 97 FBS starting options. I understand that.
Yeah. I don't know what options he had. I don't know what his options were. One of his options was he could, and I know he and Gundy, blah, blah, blah. He could have stayed at Oklahoma State and been the quarterback in a system that he already knows. So if he's going to come to a new place and learn a new system, terminology, whatever, you need reps. It makes no sense for him to go, yeah, I'm going to go compete, man. He's trying to get to the NFL next year. And people that say, well, he's not an NFL guy. This is perception and reality. He might not be an NFL guy in your eyes, but if he's an NFL guy in his eyes, his perception may as well be reality until it's not. And something tells me they're not saying, hey, we think you're going to be a safety at the college level, so at the pro level, so why don't you come here and move sides of the ball? I'm just going to guess that's not what's happening. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't think I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, a lot of sources who have been right are wrong suddenly. Happens, but it's rare.
You expect resolution on this today?
No, but class starts Monday. If I'm Jackson Dart, I got to know this before I walk into a class on Monday. I do. I got to know this before I walk into a class on Monday. Because I got to think about transferring and filing for a waiver and lawyering up. To be honest, it's not an Ole Miss thing. It's him. How do you get out? How do you get another waiver? Mental health, anxiety, need to get closer to home. There's 2 schools that are really close to home. I don't know what the quarterback situation is at BYU, what the quarterback situation is at Utah. I know they have Cam Rising coming off an injury. His final season. His dad played at Utah. BYU's right there. I don't know the exact proximity, but it's probably pretty close.
Here's the other thing, too. Is Ole Miss spending NIL dollars on Spencer Sanders? Because you don't need to be paying NIL to 3 quarterbacks.
I would think. They're
without multiple years of eligibility remaining.
Yeah,
obviously.
there's NIL for Howard. I don't know how much. Howard NIL was not, per multiple sources, NIL was not a deciding factor for him at all. And in fact, I was told the majority of his NIL offers, if you will, were basically in the same ballpark.
Okay, it's a football decision.
Absolutely. Which makes going to a place where you run the risk of being the scout team quarterback nonsensical. He wasn't unhappy as a human being in Baton Rouge. He likes Brian Kelly. There were no issues, Chase. He has really good friends on the team. His girlfriend's there. He was happy there. This was a football decision. Need to develop, need to go to a place to get reps, need to go to a place where there's a path to being the starter that doesn't involve cheering for somebody to get hurt. It's math at some point. And maybe I'm wrong.
Nussmeier and Dart are the same age.
Yeah.
The exact same eligibility remaining.
Yeah. And the feeling inside the building at in Baton Rouge, according to multiple people, is that Nussmeier is viewed as the quarterback of the future there. And look, they're going to keep recruiting quarterbacks at LSU too, but Jaden Daniels decided to stay. Nussmeier is a young guy, and Howard believed, and they really couldn't promise him otherwise, that he would end up either getting just a handful of backup reps, but primarily he was going to go be the scout team guy. Can't develop like that. He didn't want to do it again. He made a football decision. So you go to a place where you run the risk of being the scout team quarterback or standing on the side watching 2 guys get the reps. Hard for me to imagine that Spencer Sanders and Jackson Dart are both there, that you're getting many reps in front of them. There aren't but a number of reps in a practice. You don't practice for 4 freaking hours.
This logically doesn't make sense because it puts you so far behind the 8 ball, but I'm literally thinking of any possible scenario here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Sanders come in, compete in the spring, and then transfer out as a grad transfer for August?
I guess he could.
That would put him so far behind the 8 ball anywhere else.
It wouldn't put him in the best position to look sharp for NFL scouts.
No.
And I have to think that's part of his thought process. And maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't think I am, but it's possible.
Sure. But you're right. I mean, there's buzz all over Ole Miss football affiliated people that stuff's coming.
I'm not making it up.
No, I know. I mean,
if I could make it up, I think I'd do something sexier than this.
Yeah, we would be going, hey, who's the third team quarterback?
Have you heard this C.J. Stroud rumor?
Yeah. Okay, let's go. I mean, hey, all right, we're going to do this. Howard transferring, the number 2 story on ESPN.com right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty high up the marquee there.
He in and of himself is a very, very good player. He has a tremendous upside. And like Tyler said yesterday on McCready and Siskey, he's a really high floor.
The top story above that is Michigan co-offensive coordinator Matt Weiss has been placed on leave, according to the athletic department, as the school's police department told ESPN it's investigating a, quote, report of computer access crimes that occurred in December at the team's football facility.
Ooh.
They acknowledged in a statement that's investigating potential crime at Schembeckler Hall. The police released a statement to ESPN when asked specifically about an investigation into Weiss. The statement did not acknowledge anyone by name. Last week, a neighbor of Weiss in Ann Arbor told ESPN that several unmarked cars showed up outside his home in what appeared to be some type of police presence. It's tied to the university police investigation. Yeah. So, I don't know. Something going on there with the Michigan OC. Jaden Rashada asking for his release from the University of Florida officially now. See where that goes. Florida reportedly balking on a $13 million NIL package to the young quarterback.
$13 million.
$13 million.
So stupid.
What was the hope that he would?
Very clearly that you could
get him and then figure it out?
Lie to him and give him some portion of it and just keep promising. And
it's the world.
Checks in the mail.
The world we're in. January 18, 2023. John Cohen's at Auburn. He freezes Auburn. And the head of a college football story on ESPN is Florida quarterback recruit Jaden Rashada requested a release from his national letter of intent after a $13 million contract fell through, according to multiple reports. Had somebody sent that to you in 2015, you go, hold on a minute. What? Hold on a second. Help me right now.
$13 million. Remember? And remember this? Remember when I told people, hey, I heard $6 million. People were like, you're crazy. Wait, okay.
There's a 4-year $13 million deal. Spread out.
When I heard $6 million, everybody was like, oh, no, you're crazy.
The financial backing fell through, however. The Greater Collective terminated the binding agreement and left Florida coach Billy Napier to scramble to try to get Rashada to campus. Wonder how that conversation went between Billy and some head of the collective over there at the Gator Nation.
Jaden, have you seen the chocolate waterfall inside our building? Have you looked at the cold tub? It is amazing. Coach, $13 million. No. I want to talk about uniforms. We have the Jump Man. Have you seen the Jump? I mean, it is so.
We're the only SEC school
we're
now.
We're it.
With the Jump Man. Now, I don't see how Rashada would have legal action unless they wrote the contract in a way to be the stupidest people on earth, because there are so many out clauses in these contracts.
Yeah, no, he has no.
Well, it says here the situation could have long-term ramifications for Napier, as representatives could file a lawsuit against the Gator Collective and maybe even the athletic department. That feels reachy.
Billy's like, maybe I should have listened to South Carolina.
Like I said, Shane looks happy.
Yeah. Mississippi State wasn't so bad. Gosh, Josh looks really happy at Tennessee.
Florida, I mean, again, this is the bottom of the story, and I'm not making fun because some of these charges are very serious, but The Gators badly need the all-important quarterback position. Need help at the all-important quarterback position. They lost Anthony Richardson to the NFL draft, dismissed backup Jalen Kitna following arrest on child pornography charges. They had Emory Jones and Carlos Del Rio Wilson transfer last spring. They signed Wisconsin transfer Graham Mertz, oh great, to compete for the starting job alongside Jack Miller III, and they're currently trying to land LSU quarterback Walker Howard. Oh, my God.
Well, I saw Jack Miller play against Oregon State. Now, this isn't fair.
I know.
It was one game.
Yeah.
It was his first start against a good team in a bowl game playing with checked-out teammates. But I didn't see anything from Jack Miller that made me go, oh, yeah, they're good. And Graham Mertz is fine. I watched a lot of Graham Mertz over the years.
Fine is – that's it.
Chili's.
Yeah, come on.
Chili's.
I mean, he's fine. He can get you through the situation. I bet Pro Football Focus does this thing called big time throws. I bet Mertz's number is pretty low in that category.
He is. I'd like the queso and the cheeseburger. And just give me the 2-for-1 on the Bud Light. That's it. Not going to be gourmet, but it's a meal. You can get through it. Not particularly healthy. You're never going to remember it. You're never going to talk about it. But it served its purpose. That's Graham Mertz. And if that's what you ask,
you don't go hungry.
If that's what you ask of Graham Mertz, you're going to be okay. But if you say, hey, go beat Georgia. No, that's not on the menu. Nope. That's not.
You're at Chili's. You go, I want the tomahawk ribeye. We don't serve that.
We don't serve that. Okay, well then
Cajun chicken pasta.
I tell you what, I'd like a bone-in fillet with no. We have a sirloin.
It kind of looks like that.
Well done, by the way. That's what we have. No, that's not what I want. Well, that's what that's where you are, champ.
Yeah.
That's Graham Mertz. Chili's. And that's to my point. When you go to Chili's and you get off the main menu and you're like, hey, what about this pasta? No. Go back. Get the burger. Just get the burger. You're good. That's all it's going to be, and that's Graham Mertz.
He's going to beat Vanderbilt. He might even beat Kentucky.
The last guy didn't beat Vanderbilt.
Well, okay, fair.
No, they're in trouble. And if your reputation becomes,
you're Florida, that Vegas over-under is going to be higher than it should be. Go ahead and jump on your Florida under next year.
If you get the reputation for you make promises in recruiting that you can't fulfill, good luck.
That's it.
Good luck. Don't overpromise. Always underpromise.
I forgot they had Mertz.
They're thankful they have Mertz. Dude, if they didn't have Mertz, they're not even at Applebee's anymore.
Who did Iowa get? The Michigan kid?
Yeah, they got McNamara.
Yeah.
So they improved.
Yeah, they did. Well,
no,
they fired Brian French yet?
No.
He's saying?
I mean.
He's saying?
It's certainly possible.
Okay. They had the number one defense in the country.
Yep. I told you this.
Yeah,
all year. Everybody kept making Iowa jokes. I'm like, have you watched their defense? They're really, really good.
Had the number one defense in the country with that offense, which means you're on the field non-freaking stop.
Yeah, no, they were really good.
Jesus. Yeah, no, I get it. There'll be more silly season today. It's coming.
I mean, it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, today, tomorrow.
I'm trying to find out what stories I need to pre-write.
Lane said the next 48 hours.
That's what he said.
Good enough.
I mean, I'm guessing the DB, I'm guessing the linebacker, and at this point, I'm guessing Tulu.
Or maybe a quarterback.
Or maybe Spencer Sanders.
I am kind of expecting Tulu. That just feels that way.
Yeah.
It feels like we get another chapter in the angst today.
He will melt down publicly. I doubt. Something tells me it's not all legit.
I'll go over to Gene's page and check it out.
He'll give them the vitriol that they're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah. Kind of it's almost kind of the expectation now. So.
You have any thoughts on, I'm guessing you don't, Ivan Provorov with the Flyers? Did you see this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it was Pride Night last night for the Flyers.
Okay.
And
Philadelphia. Hockey.
Yeah, hockey,
Okay.
NHL.
Gotcha.
And in
Not Dayton.
pregame, the team wore a rainbow jersey for warmups. Okay. He's a Russian Orthodox.
Oh,
if you've kept up with a lot of what's going on in Russia. And
yeah.
He declined to go warm up. His quote, "I respect everybody and I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion." And of course, in today's society, he's getting crucified. I'm completely with Ivan Provorov here.
No, when it's legitimate, I have no issue with anything anybody does that is religious based to make a decision. I have no issue there at all.
He didn't disrespect anyone. He didn't insult anyone. He didn't condemn anyone.
Yeah,
he made a decision based on his faith. That was his decision and his decision alone. And he gets condemned by our field goes after everybody who's not just if you're not team woke, they're after you. I completely understand it. Boy, the reaction on Twitter though
which is part of the problem. Reaction on Twitter
is so negative against him. You know, I mean, he's a bigot. He's whatever. No, I mean, he made a decision based on his individual faith, and he did not try to push his faith on anyone else.
Lane Kiffin tweeting out that the Kennedy kid from Alabama is in the portal. So
the linebacker.
Yeah. Is that a clue? I don't know. That's up to you guys to go down that road. I'm simply relaying the news.
It's typically a clue.
Typically a clue.
Yeah, as someone says, respect is a two-way street.
When Sean looks like he was like out at dinner with Blackwell or something, he's tweeting, Lane retweeting that.
Who was?
Quinshawn Judkins.
Okay.
I'm going down Lane's Twitter feed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Apropos of nothing.
Who picked up the bill, Quinshawn or Blackwell? They make about the same amount.
Yeah. We're going halvesies here.
Actually, I think Quinshawn makes more.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this, Coach. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Coach. I know you got it. I mean,
you got a family and
you
stuff.
You got to pay those bills from Christmas. I got
it. Yeah. All right. Jeffrey Wright tomorrow morning on the show. We'll talk some NFL playoffs, some lines. We'll get Neal's picks up at some point here over the course of the weekend. I think Rippy had a big week from just judging at it. It looked like.
Brian and Jeffrey both went 4-2.
Oh, okay. Just one game.
Actually, Brian, me and Brian all went 3-3.
Oh, we did.
Jeffrey went 4-2.
Okay, gotcha. So there's that. We'll have that up and then talk to Jeffrey NFL, college football, and whatever craziness comes to you today. So hope all of you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.